Welcome to the Adaptive Structuration Theory. Basically, this theory says that, or suggests that, there are internal and external influences that change the structure and purpose of an established technological resource to enrich the learning experience or the experience of the target users. This theory is basically based upon the concept that there are two types of users. There's faithful appropriation, in which the use of technology, of the technological resource, is used in a way that it was intended to be used. And then there's unfaithful appropriation, which modify usage of a technological resource to achieve a desired goal. When individuals use a tool in a method that it was not intended to, then the organization adapts the tool to suit the needs of the user. This is the basis of the adaptive structuration theory. So some key terms and definitions that you should know before you get a better or a more in-depth understanding of this are, it's the same YouTube video right over here, and then there's a presentation. So some of the key concepts that one should know are structuration. Structuration basically means the theory that people enter into a situation or groups that they did not create, yet they have the ability to make changes within the group. Rules. Rules and regulations basically are preconceived ideas that people bring to groups as to how things should be done within the group. Intended or unintended. Individuals may use technology as it was intended by design, or alter its use in relation to their own specific environment. Experiences. People's experiences, environment, or opinions about technology influence its use. Production. People change or adopt rules as interaction occurs. Reproduction. Actions reinforce existing systems. Resource. What people bring to the table, such as materials, attributes, relationships, or expertise, etc. Unfaithful appropriation. People do not use technology for the purpose it was intended for. Faithful appropriation. People do use technology as it was intended to be used. Repetition. Repetition of these new frameworks can result in changes in social or organizational structures, or even technological design. Now, the basic theoretical foundation of this theory is that it's basically based upon Anthony Giddens' structuration theory, which suggests that individuals, or agents, and the social structures both collaboratively produce and reproduce the social systems of that context. Based on this theory, Poole and De Sanctis created the adaptive structuration theory that provides an understanding of how technology and the social systems both interact together. The adaptive structuration theory suggests that there are internal and external influences that change the structure and purpose of an established technological resource to enrich the experience of the target user. So there's two types of methods of using the technology. There's faithful appropriation, which we had mentioned before, and unfaithful appropriation. When unfaithful appropriation occurs, then the organizations adapt to the tool to suit the needs of the user. Some key characteristics about this theory are that there are three factors that basically determine how the technological tool will socially interact with the user. There's the actual structure. That's the actual structure of the technology that is being used, such as the features, models, structural features, and creative features such as efficiency, leadership, conflict management, etc. Then there's other sources of that provide structure. For example, organizations' physical and social structures. And then there's a group's internal systems, such as styles of interacting, the knowledge, experience, and expertise of the users that are going to be using the technology. Then you have the social interaction, which occurs between the technology and its user. Then there's appropriation of structures. There's faithful appropriation, and then there's also unfaithful appropriation. And if you have unfaithful appropriation, then, well, even if you don't have unfaithful, you have a faithful and unfaithful both, you have emergent sources of structures that can also influence the social interaction. So what happens is that then you have the decision process that starts, in which ideas start getting generated, participation occurs, conflict management for troubleshooting. This is where the behavior of the individuals and users starts becoming influenced. After that, what you have is, if you have unfaithful appropriation, then you have new social structures, new rules, new resources that are created. Then again, it goes into the decision process. And when the decision process, new ideas generate, conflict resolution management, that's because of the new rules and resources and relations. Then you have a decision outcome, which basically has a higher efficiency, better quality, better consensus, and more commitment from the user as well. Now, in terms of education, what happens is that there are a few educational implications that are evident because of the adaptive structuration theory. So, the adaptive structuration theory can be used in the educational context because it allows for anonymous communication. Group members that are hesitant are able to freely communicate. It levels the playing field for participation. For example, people can use the technology for ways it was intended, and others can also use it in a way that it was not intended in order to help enhance their own personal learning experience. Another benefit is that status and or social influences are eliminated. These factors that often intimidate people in groups are erased. Some teaching ideas that are evident based upon the adaptive structuration theory within the K-12 classroom context. Initially, Facebook was created as a social platform for individuals to interact. Educators can use Facebook pages. They can create their own classroom Facebook pages. They can create their own school pages. Educators can use this page as a means of posting class-relevant information, deadlines, post reminders, ask students to collaboratively work together, have active and formative and effective discussions also. And Twitter is being used more commonly now than before as well. Educators can create their own hashtags for their own classes or school. They can ask students to go and research about a certain community of practice. They can have students keep up to date with the latest news, latest research, by finding research that's been posted on Twitter about groups, organizations, and everything like that. Furthermore, you can also use the adaptive structuration theory. This video on this webpage basically gives you a more detailed understanding of this in the administrative school environment as well. Teachers can collectively get together with school administration and go over the technology or the technological tools that are at hand and to basically gather, brainstorm ideas on how it can be effectively used to help promote the educational learning of the students and achieve desired learning goals as well. So you can use the tool in terms of a faithful appropriation method or an unfaithful one. All teachers, as they all collectively get together, they can bring in their expertise, their experiences, their knowledge, and as a group, they can make the learning experience more beneficial for the student. Now, the authors which had actually created or authored the adaptive structuration theory, there have been three theorists which are very, very highly influential for this. There is Anthony Giddens. He is a renowned sociologist who has published over 34 books and over 200 articles. He has a vast academic background in sociology and psychology. His most notable contributions are the theory of structuration and his holistic views on modern societies. He is also very politically involved. He is currently the emeritus professor in the Department of Sociology at the London School of Economics. He had basically assisted Tony Blair. He was an advisor to Tony Blair as well. Then you have Marshall Scott Poole, who in 1994, him and Jordan and DeSantis both co-authored the adaptive structuration theory. Now, he has published over 122 publications. He is currently serving as a professor of communications and a senior research scientist at the University of Illinois. He has a very, very strong background in the communication arts. You have Gerardine de Sanctis. She had published 73 publications and acted as a visiting professor to various international universities. She had a bachelor's and a master's degree in psychology, and for her PhD, she had acquired it in management with a keen focus on organized behavior and information systems.